Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic DeMore, and I want to thank you for tuning in to the second, possibly third best thing you've heard all week. We have a great show for you today that includes a top-notch film review, which finally Jim and I are going to argue about. First time in IHB history, we might actually get into a physical altercation on air. If that happens, it's okay. We're going to be friends afterwards.
We might not be.
We might not be. If I insult your boy too much. But in addition to the film review, we're also going to give you the box office results for last week, as well as give you our predictions for the results for this upcoming week. This is the I've Had Better Movies podcast. Let's kick it off. James, what is the movie we were reviewing today?
Jason Bourne.
Yep, that is the film we will be talking about.
The fifth installment of the Jason Bourne series.
Yeah, a true fourth installment to the Bourne series, if you don't include Legacy.
Same concept, different actor.
Yeah, pretty much. Although you could say that about a lot of these movies.
You can.
Same concept over and over.
Yep.
Basic plot of this film, Jason Bourne has been in seclusion, a self-imposed seclusion, after the events of Ultimatum. He has decided that because basically he learned that he volunteered to join the Treadstone program, that he in fact was at fault for all of those killings in a way, and now when he sees children at a basic human cockfight, not the dirty kind, but where they punch each other in the face, he...
essentially a fight club.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. That was probably more appropriate. He shudders at the thought and he just freaks out like, oh, I saw children. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep picking away, Jim. And then Julia Stiles, post learning how to dance in downtown New York, figures out how to hack into the CIA mainframe, download some Black Ops files, and learn some brand new information that Jason Bourne didn't already know. Surprising. Yet again. Goes and finds Jason Bourne, is like, and literally delivers the line, "You don't know everything." He doesn't know everything. He doesn't know anything. He's essentially Jon Snow.
You know nothing, Jon Snow?
Neither does Jason Bourne, apparently. So this leads him into another adventure in where he must find information from another corrupt government agent and fight off another assassin bent out on killing him / tracking him. Basic concept?
Basic concept of every Bourne film.
Yeah. So, let's kick it off, James. Put your dukes up. What were your thoughts on this film?
All right. The film wasn't fantastic, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. So I probably went in with a lower expectation than you did. And I also thought that they were going to do the same thing over again. I didn't think it was going to change much. Figured they were going to have some sort of new information that Jason Bourne finds out, and he's going to go through the whole thing all over again, tracking someone down, just like you said, not killing someone, getting the information that he wanted, even though he already knew it was true. And that was basically it. The same movie.
Yeah, in a worse format. I go back and forth between this one and Ultimatum of the true Bournes that I liked the least. But that was my biggest issue with it, is it's just a complete retread in every single way. Tommy Lee Jones is the same as Chris Cooper, who is the same as the guy in the third one, who is the same as Brian Cox. Not Brian Cox.
Ed Norton in Bourne Legacy.
Yeah. Like, it's the same thing.
Just they have been getting better actors for that role.
That's true.
I'll give them that, which is interesting.
Yeah. The government assassin, same thing over and over. They try to do a little something different when they first showed him, and they were like, oh, when Bourne released the Blackbriar files at the end of Ultimatum, this guy's cover was blown and led to him being captured and tortured, and you see some of his scars. The actor is Vincent Castle, who plays him. Good actor. He was in like Black Swan, stuff like that. So at that point, I was like, okay, here's a new wrinkle. This is something I can get behind, because part of me is like, oh, that happened? I'm kind of rooting for him. Like, I still want Bourne to win, but like, this guy deserves to get a few punches in. Like, he did get tortured. Mm-hmm. And then they completely ruined that for me when they...
I will agree with you. They did ruin that.
Yeah.
It wasn't wasn't necessary what they did with that.
Yeah, spoilers, because I'm going to reveal it. But again, I'll give you 5, 4, skip ahead 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1. They had Vincent Castle be the one who killed Jason Bourne's father. Why? Because we're supposed to hate the bad guy. That was essentially it.
That, and so Matt Damon ends up killing him.
Yeah. I didn't like it. It was a retread. They took every potential that there was and they just squashed it.
Well, I don't even know if it... I mean, has Jason Bourne actually killed someone?
Aside from the 33 lives that...
Well, I meant in more of a revenge way instead of
like defense.
Yeah.
In 1, the only guy he kills is the 2 assassins who come after him.
Supremacy.
The
one dude that kills.
He kills Urban and he kills the other guy who was in Treadstone, but that guy attacked him. Ultimatum. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't remember any of the movie. I know he fights Edgar Ramirez.
Yeah, I think he leaves him in the car though after they crashed. Yeah, so I think this might be the only time that he's actually killed someone in vengeance.
Yeah, which I mean, it was cool to see. I guess Bourne in the hunter role as opposed to the hunted. It wasn't enough of a change because it was like, oh hey, it's slightly different, but it's still kind of the same thing.
Well, the build up to it also sucked with the car chase.
Yeah, that car chase
was very
rough.
unrealistic.
Yeah. So
it would have been better if Vincent Castle had the Charger and Matt Damon had the SWAT tank.
It would have been. All right, James. Since you apparently like this movie so much, convince me. What are your positives?
Well, it's going to be difficult.
Aside from the fact that it's Jason Bourne, like, give me one thing that's not like it's a Bourne movie.
I thought the Alicia Vikander character was interesting
until
the ending.
Yeah. When they turned her into another government agent, it's corrupt.
Yeah.
Like, I guess we know who our villain for the 6th one is.
Yeah, I mean, all they were doing was setting up the 6th one. But I thought she was really good, and I enjoyed watching her on screen. And the chemistry with her and Bourne, for as little as it was, seemed good. And it was a nice change of pace having that character actually want to help Matt Damon. I mean, Julia Stiles was there for a little bit, but then she kind of was no longer needed by the CIA or whatever.
I mean, Vikander, she acted very well. The story sucked for her. It started great because she's this new kind of tech-savvy CIA analyst who is arguably Bourne's most challenging mental opponent. Like, she tracks Bourne where nobody else has. She's kind of one step ahead of him in every way with like the malware program that was stashed on the device that he eventually had to go and get it decrypted. So, yes, in a sense, the character started out good, but the ending, it just totally ruined it for me.
Yeah, I mean, the ending did suck, and I was a little upset about that but it makes sense that Jason Bourne figured out that she wasn't trying to help him.
With the super convenient spy gear that happened to be at the convention that they were at.
Yeah, Jason Bourne doesn't leave anything behind.
Like, he just walked past the booth and he's like, oh, hey, this will be useful. As opposed to, like, every other movie, he actually has to, like, finagle stuff, or he finds a locker that has spy shit. This time it's like, oh, spy shit. Available right here.
It was available at the convention. I mean, what are you going to do about that?
Which was also weird, considering that whole plot point about the convention is how this iOS program or whatever isn't going to be watching you and following you and keeping track of all your whereabouts, but all of the tech gear walking up to the convention is all spy gear.
Yeah, that is a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
They didn't think that one through.
They did not, but it's like, hey, Deus Ex Machina, spy gear just shows up. So, I agree. Vikander acted very well. She was clearly the best actor in this movie, considering Damon has nothing to do besides punch a couple of people and look confused or angry.
Which he's good at. I mean, I like Jeremy Renner in Bourne Legacy, but I think I might be the only one.
Pretty much. The box office does not back up your theory.
No, I've got a soft spot for him.
Yeah.
He flips homes, so he's my boy.
All right, so you like Legacy because Renner's into construction, and you like this one because Jason Bourne.
Yes.
Nice. Let's just each give our final thought on the film. You can endorse it. I'll just bash it. I didn't like the movie. It's not awful. Like, it's not like a 3 or anything on my scale. It's just, it was the same thing over and over again. Paul Greengrass's filming style, I don't think worked in this film. I think it was overcut. Whereas Ultimatum and Supremacy, there are a lot of heavy action cuts in the movie. They kind of work because maybe it's just because Matt Damon was younger then and he was a little bit faster. But in this one, Matt Damon's a little older. Like, it looked like he had a whole lot more power shots as opposed to just a quick fighting style. Maybe that helped it. It felt like an action movie fused with a Jason Bourne movie and created some abomination combination. So I didn't like that. Vikander was solid. The entire subplot with Tommy Lee Jones and the guy who I suppose is supposed to be a combination of Mark Zuckerberg and Apple guy, Steve Jobs, that went nowhere for me. It turned out to be useless because he was going to spill his guts and be like, I took money from the government, and then he got shot and he shut up. And Vikander mentions at the very end, like, hey, we can still use him. So is that what's going to be the plot again of the next movie?
It's a good point.
It all just felt like a whole bunch of nothing to me. I was never thoroughly entertained in this movie. I suppose the Greek riots / that action scene was fun, but
beginning
that
20 minutes maybe.
Yeah, that felt much more Bourne Legacy than it did Bourne Identity, Ultimatum, or Supremacy. As a matter of fact, don't they have a motorcycle chase in Legacy?
Yes.
Yep. Makes sense. So those are my thoughts. I might as well give my rating as well. I went a 5.1 out of 10 apples. It's a little harsh, but it deserves it.
I think it's harsh. If we go back and look through some of the other movies you gave a 5 to, I think that's...
I don't think so.
I disagree. Do you think it really differed that much between Identity and Supremacy with directing?
Yeah, because in Identity, there's not really those... Well, it also helps he's only got like 2 fist fights in
Identity's definitely more of a researching type of film.
Yeah, and Identity is fully Jason Bourne running.
Yes.
Supremacy, he goes more on the attack.
Yes.
Ultimatum, he's still on the attack. Like,
don't more people like... I don't know. I know I do. I like Supremacy more than Identity.
It's actually, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's like 2% less. And Ultimatum is the highest one. That's like 91, which I don't understand. My order is Supremacy, Identity, Ultimatum. No, I'd go Jason Bourne over Ultimatum. Jason Bourne, Ultimatum, Legacy.
All right. Mine would be Supremacy, Identity, Legacy, Ultimatum, Jason Bourne. So this one's still on the bottom of my list.
Okay. Let's get you a rating, because by that understanding alone... What? Okay.
Well, I definitely rank all those movies higher than what I'd give this one.
So what are you giving this one?
I'm honestly feeling like a 6.2.
Oh, that's what I'm fighting over?
Yeah.
Holy shit, it's 1.1. I thought you were going to tell me it's a 7.2 or something.
No, not that high.
Oh, okay.
No, I just said we're going to differ.
Yeah, well, the way you're defending it, I'm like, okay, he's about to give this movie a score. A 6, it puts it into the fresh column, but it's like...
Yeah, it's good for the podcast.
Yeah.
Have a little disagreement.
There we go. Okay. Now I don't hate you as much.
Hate?
It's a strong,
see what he does to me?
It's a strong word, and it was...
Always thinking less of me for my opinion. It's just... It's a lot to take.
It's okay.
These gray hairs are from you.
Well, mine's from something else. I don't know what it is. I got a lot of stress in my life, Jim.
All right.
I deal with other things.
I'm sure you do. All right. I think we spent enough time on this.
I think so, too. All right. So, just to reiterate, 5.1, 6.2.
6.2.
And it all makes sense now.
We're all good.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys thought of Jason Bourne. Did you accept it for what it was, like Jim, or were you expecting a higher level of achievement from somebody who gets as much credit as Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass? Let us know in the comment section below, or you can hit us up on Twitter at IHB Podcast, or send us an angry email to
IHBpodcast@gmail.com.
That's the one. Next up, we have the Box Office Battle, a competition for bragging rights between friends who want nothing more than to let the other guy we know more. Can't rhyme more with more. Probably should work on that. Anywho, I got a weird look because I used anywho in front of James.
It's a great word.
It is. The way the game works is each week Jimmy and I will give our top 5 predictions for the order of the box office. Whoever wins that week gets a point, and then there's some form of punishment, generally just with embarrassment amongst our own friends, but occasionally we'll buy each other beer, stuff like that. So without further ado, James, the numbers for this week.
The results from last week's box office are as follows. Debuting in first place and earning back roughly half of its production budget was Jason Bourne, taking home $60 million. Falling to second place with a far from stellar 59.5% drop was Star Trek Beyond, earning $24 million. The third spot goes to Bad Moms, debuting to a solid $23.4 million. The Secret Life of Pets remains strong in its fourth week with $18.2 million, growing its worldwide total to just shy of $400 million. Rounding out the top 5 was the low-budget phenom Lights Out with an additional $10.81 million. I got all 5 right, by the way.
Yeah.
How about them apples?
Yeah, it was a good week for you. I went Dumb and Dumber on it. Samsonite. I was way off.
Sure did.
Yeah, I had Ghostbusters, which ended up coming in 7th. Cool $1 million roughly behind the 5th spot.
Yep. What is the score now?
Now you are back up 2.
2.
Yes, because I came back last week and won, and you had a 2-point advantage at that point.
That would be the math.
Yes.
Thank you for pointing that out.
No problem. So, some pretty interesting stuff, mainly with the top. Jason Bourne, $60 million isn't a horrible number.
Not the best. But not
No,
horrible.
it's about $9 million. It's the second biggest opening among the Bourne franchise, but about $9 million less than Ultimatum did. It's possible, like we talk about every week now, just sequelitis. That, and it didn't get great reviews, so people weren't rushing out to see it. Next week going to be an important week. You don't want to have that drop off like Star Trek had.
It might have a drop off like Star Trek.
But I was not expecting the 59.5.
That's a huge drop off.
Yeah, I was expecting around 50, which, I mean, makes sense. Most movies drop off 50. I was honestly expecting around 45 because I think this movie's really good.
Yeah.
But
you might be in the minority with that.
It's got a great score on Rotten. It's 83% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Just because Rotten Tomatoes gives it that doesn't mean everyone else does.
True, but it's one of those things. It's
it makes me wonder if just Star Trek fans went and saw it the first week, and not really anyone else wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just it's a down box office this year. Just these movies aren't catching anyone. It really is. It's sequelitis because nobody wants to go see these fourth entries and third entries when they didn't really like the last one. And Jason Bourne, bit of an anomaly. $60 million is good, like we said. Earned back half its budget, but...
And, I mean, there's very few franchises that are able to consistently get big money like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Marvel and DC are the few.
Yeah.
I don't even know if... I mean, Jurassic Park did, but that was... I mean, how many years in between the third one?
Yeah, and I don't even think people think of the third one when they think of Jurassic World. I think a lot of people think
the one in 93.
And Jurassic World, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think they even skip over Lost World.
A lot of people skip over 2, for sure.
Yeah.
I remember when 3 came out and be like, when did 2 come out? I don't even remember hearing about that.
Yeah, so I get it. The $120 million budget, it's high, but it's only like $10 million over what Ultimatum was.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, so that's an example of solid budgeting. You can't get into the area like Beyond did, where they're 185. Like,
it's a lot of money.
And Bourne is smart because they don't do great internationally. It's an American thing, kind of, despite the fact that I think the first 3 films were mostly filmed overseas and stuff like that.
I think I read somewhere that this one did the best opening worldwide.
Yeah, I think a lot of that is because it's been how many years since Ultimatum? Like 6?
Something like that, yeah.
It either came out, it's either 6 or 4. It came out in 2010 or 2012. I think Legacy came out in 2012.
Identity was 2002, Supremacy is 2004, Ultimatum 2007.
Oh, 7. Wow.
And then Legacy 2012.
Okay, I got Legacy right.
So you got...
Yeah, I just was off a couple years on Ultimatum. But so it's been 10 years since that, and the international box office has grown by leaps and bounds. Like back in the day, if you made $50 million internationally, it's like, oh yeah, we did great overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to be in the $200 million range.
Yep.
So that's interesting. If it has a good second week here, maybe we'll say close to 40. They're great. They'll make their budget back here. They'll get profit from internationally, and it feels a lot like nowadays that's all production companies want.
Yeah.
Break even domestically, make your money internationally. Lights out, $63 million globally on that $5 million budget.
Killing it.
Awesome. Yeah. Circling back to Star Trek Beyond, they have already greenlit the 4th one, but executives came out and said budget's going to be lower.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
And we already know that this one's going to be pretty different than the first 3.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they're bringing back Chris Evans. Hemsworth, the other Chris.
Yes.
The other beautiful blonde Chris.
Pretty much, I mean.
Beautiful blonde jacked in an Avenger movie Chris.
Some other news and notes. You want to go through 6 through 8?
Sure. At number 6, we have Ice Age. Still doing terrible with $10.5 million.
Yeah. Like over 0.5% drop off.
Yeah. Ghostbusters at number 7 at $9 million and finally above the budget.
Globally, yeah. Finally broke that ceiling. 150 something right now.
3rd week.
Yeah.
Well, domestically. Did it come out the same week internationally?
Yeah, I mean, it's like...
It was close.
I think this week it opens in Spain, maybe Mexico, and one other sizable country.
Gotcha. At number 8 was Nerve.
Yeah, a movie that Jimmy and I both saw, and I really enjoyed it. The 3rd act gets a little wonky, but you kind of expect that from these movies.
Yeah. $9 million with a $20 million budget.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure where that $20 million went.
Neither am I. It felt super small, and I mean, aside from Franco and
Emma Roberts.
Yeah, there's nobody to pay.
No.
I doubt Julie would...
Unless that was actually MGK, but I'm not sure if that's actually true.
Jim and I had to look at each other a couple of times. Like, is that MGK? No,
it's got to be Machine Gun Kelly, man. No, it's not. He doesn't have enough tattoos.
Yeah, so... Overall, it was an okay week at the box office.
Not as much money as last week, I don't think.
No, not even close. Last week, everything was over 20, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe everybody's waiting until next week when Suicide Squad comes out. Because that's what our competition... Oh, no, never mind. We're a little different. Yeah, which I'm a little surprised at. When I was doing my order, I thought for sure we were going to be exact same. But you got faith.
Yeah, I've got some faith somewhere else.
All right, so without further ado, let's give our predictions. I will go first. Number 1, I'm going Suicide Squad because it's Suicide Squad. I haven't met a single person so far who's like, no, I don't want to see this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everybody's going to go out opening weekend. I'm not predicting like a $200 million, but part of me thinks like 140 is in play, which would be insane, yeah.
Because the marketing has been nuts.
Oh, yeah, it's been spot on. Number 2, I have Jason Bourne. I'm expecting 50 at least drop off. Third, I'm going Bad Moms again. I don't expect a huge drop-off for this. I think it's going to get some run. And that movie made its money back pretty much in opening weekend. Fourth, I'm going Secret Life of Pets again. And fifth, I'm going Lights Out. I don't see anything else new popping in, and I think do those consistent drop-downs.
Good list. I actually like yours maybe better than mine. I've got the first three are the same. So Suicide Squads, Jason Bourne, and Bad Moms. I'm giving a little more faith in Star Trek.
Really?
Yeah. I don't see it dropping.
I'm not gonna lie. I forgot about Star Trek. That was me dropping the ball. Yeah. It was like, when I was doing my list, I was like, why does this feel so easy? Like,
because if it drops 50%, that's still $12 billion.
Yeah.
And I think Secret Life of Pets is going to drop more than that. So that'll be Star Trek at number 4, and then Secret Life of Pets at 5. And I don't think Lights Out is going to hang on to Secret Life of Pets again.
Okay. I am adjusting my list. I still think Secret Life of Pets is going to be 4, so we're just flip-flopping Star Trek.
Okay, and you bumped out Lights Out?
Yeah, I bumped out Lights Out.
Okay. Fair enough. I will allow that one since you completely forgot.
Yeah, no. I dropped the ball on that one. That's on me, Coach. That's on me.
Get them next time.
Let us know what your guys' top 5 picks are. You can let us know. Send us an email to Nope, that's not even it. IHBpodcast@gmail.com. I normally let you say it. Now I can't say it.
We'll get it together one of these days.
One time we're going to have a perfect show.
That could be our stitch. We don't ever have a perfect show. That's why it's called the I've Had Better.
We can always do better. So that was the show for today. I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you enjoyed the show, please like this episode and subscribe to the I've Had Better Podcast Network. Also, as I just said, you can follow us on Twitter at IHB Podcast. And on Facebook, go like the I've Had Better Podcast page. Please invite your friends. It only takes a couple minutes. It's a big pain in the ass, but it would really help us. James, tell the people where they can find you.
You can follow me on Twitter at @the_Kaiser_Soze or on Facebook as Jimmy Langos. And check out our website, www.ihbpodcast.com. And please subscribe to the iTunes and listen off your phone or laptop. And you can find that by searching IHB Podcast, IHB Movies, I've Had Better Podcast.
Yep, those will send you right to us. I am Dominic Demore. You can follow me on Twitter at Dom Demore, or on Facebook, follow me at Dominic Demore. How was the show today, James?
I've had better.
So have I. Good night, everybody.